Hello YouTube, SentinalhMC here, and welcome to Factorio. So we're doing something a bit different. We're still waiting on Haggle to be around so that he can whitelist Nathan on his server. So we aren't able to start the Revolution Pack Let's Play yet. So in order to have something up today, I decided to play some Factorio and try out a different style of video. So I've already played this game, recorded for about an hour, and I've sped up the footage because Factorio, being an isometric game, is a bit easier to do that. And now I'm commentating over it, so we can have, you know, like twice as much gameplay happen in the same amount of time. So let me know how you enjoy this this sort of thing, and maybe we can do it more often. So in this little Let's Play of Factorio, I decided to do something a bit stupid and different. It's stupid because, you know, it's going to make the game harder. But I wanted to try to do something that would impose a limitation to make the game more challenging. So I decided that this is going to be a steampunk Let's Play of Factorio. So basically, if it can be powered by coal or another solid fuel, I'll use it instead of an electrical version. So no solar panels. We're going to run off steam engines, and we're going to use burner inserters, if not exclusively, then as much as possible, using them instead of the yellow electric ones. And we're not going to use any laser guns. We're going to stick with bullets and fire and that kind of flamethrowers and that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a bit different and interesting way to play, because what's going to happen is it's going to mean that the biters are going to come after me more often and sooner, because I'm going to be spreading a lot more pollution. So what I'm doing here is just getting started. It takes a little bit to get started in Factorio. There's a lot of manual mining at first. I'm getting burner mining drills on all of the big ore veins that are in my starting area. I've got a pretty darn good starting area. I've got some coal, I've got some iron and copper, and it's all roughly right next to each other. And if you look at the map, you can see that we're basically on like a little, it's not an island, but it's only got 4 connections to the mainland, which means that it's basically a fortress. If I just build some walls and guns, I only have to defend 4 possible avenues of entrance. Now, this little bit of land isn't going to be nearly large enough for a full-sized Factorio factory, but we'll see how it goes. At first, this starting area is going to be quite nice. We're obviously going to need a lot more coal, so I'm going to have to spread out and find some pretty quickly. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So right now I'm just mining stone so I can get some more stone furnaces, because I want to put some more furnaces down and another mining drill. So I'm putting down a stone mining drill just so that it can just go while I'm doing other things. You don't need a lot of stone until you start building lots of walls, so I'm just letting it go so that if I need stone, I'll have it. And now I'm setting up my first conveyor network for my copper ore and my coal. Now this is something that you would do normally anyway, even if you're not doing a purely steampunk play, is getting your ores and your coal on the same line will allow you to feed, obviously, fuel and ore into the furnaces. Or it's nighttime right now, so it might be a little bit tricky to see. But yeah, what I'm planning on doing here is we're going to run the ore and the coal up the center, and then we're going to take out the copper plates on the side. And I'm going to rework that in a little bit, but this is the general idea. This is a pretty good setup for large-scale production, having it like this, but I decided to simplify it down and move it closer to the copper, because we're not going to run copper and iron through the same place. And now I'm just figuring out exactly where to place everything. It's been a long time since I actually played Factorio, so I have to, you know, get used to the controls again, because they're different from Minecraft. Right-click to mine and left-click to place things and that kind of thing. So right here we're just, and then right here, I forgot how to pick stuff off the ground, so I had to look up the control for it, and it's F. So it's a good thing we sped this up. So there we got coal and copper going on the same line, so those burner inserters will pick up both of them and put them in the furnace. The cool thing about burner inserters is that they'll also refuel themselves. So as long as you give them a way to pick up coal, when they run low on fuel, they will pick up a coal and just put it in themselves, which is nice. So now here I am, and that's kind of the only reason that I wanted to even attempt this, was because those burner inserters can refuel themselves. So right here I'm deciding how to lay out my coal, my coal mines, I mean my copper mines, so that I can have the copper always on the top belt of that copper and coal belt, the top side, I mean. And now we need some additional coal mines, because obviously we need a ton of it. And yeah, I couldn't get a starting location that had a ton of coal. It's weird. When I don't need a ton of coal, I tend to get a ton of coal. But as soon as I started trying to get worlds for this, where I was cranking up the amount of coal that would spawn, it seemed like, just because I'd need more of it, it seemed like the coal area in the starting area was getting smaller. A bit weird. But now we got 3 coal mines, we've got 3 copper mines, and I spent a lot of time thinking about how to get these things to refuel themselves. In their current alignment, obviously, it's pretty easy to refuel one of them off the output of the other one. The burner inserters will only put 5 coal into the mines, so they're not going to keep taking it until the stack is full, which is nice. Very good design decision there, so that you can do things like this. And now I'm running a conveyor belt up behind the copper mines so that I can put coal into them as well. And of course, when I have to expand that copper production area, I'll need to move that back. But I'm using that burner inserter because I don't have access to splitters yet. I'm using that burner inserter to put stuff on the line. But once I gain access to splitters, we'll obviously change that, and we'll use a splitter instead of that burner inserter. We're probably going to end up using a lot of splitters, because we're going to have to try and get coal on basically every line of our factory, with the ultimate goal of possibly getting robots and having them refueled everything. So now I'm just, what was I doing? Oh yeah, now I'm rearranging the coal mines so that I can fuel them. I figured it out. So if I move everything up like that, because I can place burner inserters on the right side of the coal mines, right next to the arrow, and so the coal mines can fuel themselves, which works out very well if the mines are pointed upwards or if they're pointed to the left, but not so much if they're pointed to the right or pointed down, unless the belts are running the other way. So there I had to rejigger the copper lines to make sure that the copper was only on the one side. It was kind of messing up because there was one copper mine that was just feeding straight onto the belt, which doesn't quite work sometimes. It puts it on the wrong side. And now I'm setting up 2 of these burner inserters because one wasn't quite enough. I'm putting wood in them just because I have it, and you end up with a ton of wood and you don't really need a lot of it. So once that runs out, the burner inserter should put some coal in itself, because that last piece of wood will run out and it'll have another bar of fuel, so it'll be able to do it. And this is me rearranging the copper. I could have moved it closer even to the ore spot, but it doesn't really matter. So now we're going to put stuff into the furnaces from the left and take them out from the right. And I'm basically going to build a very similar system for iron, and you'll see that in this episode. In this episode, we'll get all the way through automating the production of red science packs. Now this isn't the best thing to do. This is kind of a dumb system, but I'm not using up the copper plates right now, so I'm just having a burner inserter put it in a box, in a crate. Like I said, it's not a very good system, but it's just temporary. And this whole thing is temporary, really. We're going to have to rejigger everything later. So right now I'm just fueling everything. You have to fuel the burner inserters when you first put them down, but then as long as they have coal, access to coal, they can fuel themselves. Although it doesn't quite work out as well as I was hoping later, and when we get there, I'll show you what I mean. So now I'm going to run this coal line all the way over to the iron production, so that I can fuel the furnaces there as well as the mining drill. It takes a bit for me to figure out how I want to do it, and we rejigger a few things a couple of times, but we do finally get it. Because obviously I can't just have the furnace right there. I want to put more than one furnace down. So we're going to run a conveyor belt from the mining drill, and then we're going to have our furnaces above the conveyor. And now I'm trying to figure out the best way to route the coal. I need to route the coal onto that bottom side of the iron belt, but now I have to figure out how to fuel the mining drill. So I move this over a little bit, and that allows me to put in a very temporary solution of using 2 burner inserters to move the coal into the mining drill. I'm going to replace that almost immediately because I figure out a much better system. But now I'm just refueling my my stone production mine and grabbing some stone so I can make some more furnaces. I'm going to place 3 furnaces. 1, 2, 3. You do need a lot of furnaces in the beginning because stone furnaces aren't very good. Once you upgrade to steel furnaces, it's a lot better. But you can always just build more of them because they're super cheap. So right now I was just checking because it looks like the burner inserters won't insert tons of iron ore either. It looks like it stops after a little bit. At least I was expecting it to just keep going, but it actually wasn't. So it looks like our mine is keeping up, not quite so well, but decently well with the furnaces at the moment. I'm just grabbing some iron out of the furnaces, chopping a tree, and now I'm going to place down, I'm going to craft and place my extra mines. And now I'm just trying to figure out how I want to lay these down. It takes a little moment, which is why it's nice that I can speed it up for you guys, so that we don't have to sit here for too long. So I set the drills up right there. I move that one to the top because what I want to do is I want to run a conveyor belt like that, right there, and then put some burner inserters. And now I can use one burner inserter to put coal onto that belt, and then the other burner inserters to put the coal into the mines. I fueled one of them with wood just because I didn't have any more coal. So the copper plates inserter has run out of fuel. This is gonna be something I have to figure out how to solve throughout the series. Is figuring out how laying things out in such a way that I can both keep these things fueled as well as keep them doing what they should be doing. So now I turned my mine downwards so that I could use the same technique I did on the other 2 coal mines, having the coal input for that mine upstream from its own production. So the mine is essentially fueling itself, which is a really nice system. Because that'll keep it running indefinitely as long as there's coal there. So now I was just taking in the coal system because what I really want to do is try and figure out how to get that burner inserter to fuel itself. I try a system later on, but it doesn't quite work out. So you'll see that in a bit. So chopping some trees and grabbing some more iron plates. I want to place an put down an output for the furnaces so they don't fill up. And I use the same kind of crappy system I did for the copper plates. Just a crate at the end of the conveyor. I decided to extend it out because I didn't want the inserter that's putting the plates on for that last furnace to be so close to where the other inserter is. I didn't want to risk it causing problems. So that's good. Although it doesn't quite run fast enough, so I decided to try and speed it up by using another inserter, which works out quite well, by wrapping it around to the other another side of the crate, I can use 2 inserters instead of just 1. And so I do the same thing with the copper plates because it worked out so well. Of course, the problem is that I can't. Those inserters aren't going to want to fuel themselves. Aren't going to be able to fuel themselves right now. So that will be a bit of a problem. So now I'm looking to set up my first steam engine so that I can get a research lab down. Obviously, you can't play this game without power, so. But thankfully, we have steam engines, which are perfectly steampunk, so they fit in very nicely with this the challenge for this Let's Play. I'll think of where to place these things better later, but for now, I just put one down with a single boiler there. Ideally, I want to lay it out so that I can add additional boilers and additional engines. But for now, we'll just get one up and running quick and dirty. Quick and dirty really is the name of the game, for me anyway, when I first start a new map. Which might not be the best way to go, but since I'm no expert on efficiency, I just try and get stuff to work. My factories will not be space efficient, and they'll probably not be power efficient, but they will work to some extent. So now here I'm trying to that rock is a bit in the way. Here I'm trying to get coal some way for the those inserters to power themselves. What would be really cool is if the inserters that are on the furnaces could pull coal out of the furnace to power themselves, but they can't do that, which is kind of unfortunate. But I'm trying to set up. If I wanted to see that if I sent coal onto this conveyor belt, these burner inserters would, in theory, be able to fuel themselves. But the problem, for one, is that they just keep putting it in a crate. And if you look at that bottom inserter, the one underneath the crate, now it's not picking up any copper plates. So that completely defeats its purpose because that is just curved there. What I need to do is move that crate over one so that it's pulling from the horizontal part and it's not pulling from the curve. Anyway, here I'm sitting down in my research lab and I put down a power line so that I can get it powered. I love those steam engines, the new design of them. They look quite different from when the game first came out, was first made available, and they look really, really cool, I think. So, got that set up. Now I was grabbing enough resources to build a second one, and now I'm handcrafting my first 10 red science packs. You always have to handcraft the first 10, because it takes 10 red science packs to get the auto crafters. But after you get the the automation research, you never have to handcraft red science packs again. I'm setting down another iron mine because you always need more iron. It's definitely the resource you use the most of. At least for now. I think in the late game, when you're making upgrade modules, copper plates are used more because you're making a lot of electric circuits. But in the beginning, iron is the name of the game. So here we're setting up our research completed, and we're setting up the red science production. So this assembling machine will be creating red science packs, which also require iron gears. So I needed to create another one to make iron gears, and I made sure to line them up. I've lined up the red science pack ones so that it'll be able to put 2 inserters on it to feed both research labs. And then I wanted to line up the gears just so that I could insert the gears. And rather than route the iron plates down here right now, I just wanted to get it set up, so I just grabbed a couple hundred and stuck them in a chest. The benefit of using a chest there, of course, is that the burner inserter can keep itself fueled because I can put some coal in it. But we'll have to come up with a better system later. Like I said, there's probably going to need to be coal running alongside on every belt just to keep the inserters fueled. Here I'm setting up a really silly method of fueling the inserter that is going to move the gears into the red science pack assembler. It's really silly because I'm using 2 additional inserters just to fuel one, but it does work. So that first inserter is pulling coal off the coal line, putting it on a tiny conveyor belt, and then another inserter is feeding the one that's moving the gears. Right now I'm just moving it. I'm sending copper plates over to the red science pack assembler. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to do it. This right here isn't going to work, so I'm going to change it immediately. And put it up one. Because it has to be there, so I can put a burner inserter right there. And once again, this is going to have an issue where it's not going to be able to fuel itself, but I do correct that by putting some coal down. So having coal on this line will allow that burner inserter to fuel itself, because the Red Science Pack factory obviously does not require coal, so it'll only pick up coal when it needs it. Now this bottom burner inserter, unfortunately, the problem it's going to have is that it's going to constantly alternate. It's going to pick up one piece of copper plate and then one piece of coal every single time, which isn't what I want. I'll have to figure out a way to do it. It's probably going to require creative use of splitters or something, I don't know. But I set up quite a few burners on this crate. I mean, in theory this would work. Actually, I think there might be a way that I can stop them from putting coal in the chest. Now that I think about it, I think there's a way that you can tell it not to put stuff in certain slots, and then I might be able to fill it with... Obviously, if the crate is full of copper plates, they're not going to pick up any coal. And then the coal is just going to sit there. So, I'll have a think about it, and get that system set up in a more robust manner. Here I decided to research optics just because I wanted to get some lamps up so that you guys can see better when it turns night. Because otherwise I probably wouldn't have researched optics first there. But it doesn't really matter. All these researches that require only 10 science packs, they go by so fast it doesn't really matter what order you get them in. And you're going to want all of them anyway. So I set up another furnace for iron plates just because I saw that the line was backed up. So now there's basically one furnace per mining drill. That seems to be working okay for copper, but again I add another one because the copper line is backed up so far. You want there to be some amount of backup, but you want to make sure that you're using your output properly. It looks like the copper plates are being used up pretty darn quickly now. And here I'm just setting down my lamps. There's probably more lamps over there than I needed. But I wanted to make sure that the whole base is lit up nicely at night. So now I'm wiring them in. And I sort of forgot how bright these lamps were. They're actually nice. They're quite nice and bright, so able to light up the base quite well. Yeah, I don't really think I need that lamp right there. I think I could move it to the other side of the coal line there, above the copper, and it would be fine. Better positioned. But with those lamps, now the entire base has a nice amount of light in it. So I was quite happy with that. The whole thing's lit up. And so now you guys can see better, hopefully. Now I've decided what to research next. I want to get the steel furnace as quickly as I can, but I figured that I needed to get defenses up. Because obviously that I'm producing so much pollution, I'm gonna need some good defense, so I wanted to get my turrets up. And then I can set up a system to produce ammo and lots of conveyor belts to going around the place to keep them supplied with ammunition. I mean, that would be the idea. Ideally, you'd have robots later in the game refilling your turrets with ammo. So now I'm moving resources around, checking out what I have, refueling the stone, which is getting quite full. We're starting to wind down the episode now. I'm checking the research labs because I want to make sure that both of them are able to work at the same time. I want to make sure that one of them isn't getting all the science packs, and that wasn't the case. They were both getting science packs, so both research labs were running, which was nice. I'm always moving coal around because now the oh, and here we go. The inserters were starting to run out of coal, and the episode is drawing to a close. Now that we can hear the music, so I'm just refueling everything. But I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this style of video. It works quite well for Factorio because it's isometric. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for future episodes. The Revolution LP will be coming soon. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.